Okay, so when you picture ancient Italy, what comes to mind? Roman legions, right? Gladiators, the Colosseum. But what if I told you that long before Rome was a big deal, a huge part of Italy was, well, it was Greek. Today, we're diving into the incredible and honestly often forgotten story of Magna Graecia. And it all kicks off with one simple question.
Yeah, it really does start with this. If you travel through southern Italy or Sicily today, places like Paestum, you'll stumble upon some of the most stunning, best-preserved Greek temples anywhere in the world. But wait a minute, how did they get there? This is Italy. This one question just blows the lid off what we think we know about ancient history, and it's the key to our whole story.
Let's peel back the modern map for a second, because underneath it, there's an ancient one. So many of Italy's famous southern cities actually started out as Greek colonies with totally different names. Messina, that was Zonkel. Reggio Calabria was Region. And the legendary city of Syracuse was originally Syracuse. We're not talking about a few small outposts here. This was a deep, foundational part of Italy's history.
So, why would you leave home in the first place? Well, back in the 8th century BC, the Greek mainland was kind of bursting at the seams. A huge population boom meant there just wasn't enough farmland or resources for everyone. And if you're a nation of incredible sailors, the solution is pretty obvious. You look for new opportunities across the sea.
And boy, did they find them. The lands they settled were so rich, so fertile, and the cities they built became so successful that they earned this incredible name, Magna Graecia. In Greek, that's Megale Hellas. It literally means Great Greece. Think about that. This wasn't just a name, it was a statement. These colonies were so powerful and wealthy, they were seen as a bigger, better version of Greece itself.
Now, the Greek idea of a colony was, well, it's not what you might think. It wasn't just a trading post run by some distant king. No, it was an apoika, which means a home away from home. And that's key. Each new city was a brand new, fully independent city-state, a polis with its own government, its own army, its own destiny. They were connected to their mother city by culture and religion, sure, but they were not ruled by them.
And you didn't just pack up your bags and sail off. Oh no, there was a playbook for this, a very serious and almost sacred process. First things first, you had to get the gods on your side, which meant consulting the famous oracle at Delphi. Then you'd pick a leader, an official founder called an ekista, to lead the way. And finally, when you arrived, you'd establish the city with a formal, sacred ceremony called the Ctesias. This was a methodical, religious mission designed to give the new city the best possible start. So who were these colonists? Well, they came from all over the Greek world. You had Euboeans from central Greece founding some of the very first cities, like Cuma. You had Dorians coming from the powerhouse city of Corinth, and they established what would become the absolute superpower of the West, Syracuse. And you had Achaeans, who founded cities that became legendary for their wealth, like Sybarai and Crotona. This was a massive, diverse migration. And let me tell you, these new cities were not quiet little backwaters. Places like Syracuse and Sybarai became fabulously rich and culturally brilliant. They were hotbeds for groundbreaking thinkers in philosophy, math, and science. But you know how it goes. With great power comes great rivalry. A huge part of the history of Magna Graecia is filled with these epic wars between Greek cities, all fighting for control of this new world.
Just look at the scale of their history here. In 480 BC, Syracuse defeats a huge invasion from Carthage. Then get this, in 413 BC, they completely annihilate a massive invasion force sent by Athens, the superpower of the Greek world at the time. It was a world-shaking event. But as the centuries passed, a new power was rising on the Italian peninsula, Rome. And the final chapter of Magna Graecia is the story of its conquest by this new rival, ending with the fall of Syracuse.
212 BC. Remember that year, because this is the year it all changes. This is when the last great independent Greek stronghold in the West finally falls to the Romans after a long, brutal siege. And during that very siege, one of history's most tragic and famous encounters took place.
Right in the middle of the chaos, as Roman soldiers poured into the city, one of them killed its most famous citizen, Archimedes. Yeah, the Archimedes, the genius inventor whose incredible war machines had kept the entire Roman army at bay for years. Ancient historians tell us that the Roman commander Marcellus was devastated. He had given specific orders to spare Archimedes' life. It's this incredible moment that shows just how much respect the Romans had for Greek genius, even as they were conquering it. And that really brings us to the ultimate legacy, doesn't it? Because while Rome definitely won the military war, you could say that Greek culture began to conquer Rome from the inside out. The Romans adopted the Greek gods, they just gave them new Latin names. They filled their villas with copies of Greek statues. Their incredible architecture was built on Greek principles. The whole intellectual and artistic foundation of the Roman world was Greek.
So we end with this thought. Rome won the wars, no doubt about it. They took the territory. But when you look at the art, the religion, the philosophy, and the literature of the Roman Empire, you really have to ask, who conquered whom? It's a powerful reminder that while empires can rise and fall, the influence of great ideas, well, that can last forever.